When I first got this device, I never realized it could be used as a force for good. I was told that the immediacy and permanence of the internet was oftentimes a negative, and I never saw it as a tool to enact compassion in the world. My perspective was completely changed when I was asked to make a film about my sister, who has battled brain cancer since the age of 7. The video was conceived to raise compassion and awareness at her new school, where many of her peers weren't aware of the harsh treatments and side effects she endured. With my iPhone 4S, I reached out to friends and family to share experiences about Anna in an interview, even contacting her doctor and school teachers. Upon the release of the video, I watched it transform her school community, bolstering compassion and understanding.
It went viral. Everyone loved it. Everyone freaked out. I had people telling me they had no idea about everything that I had gone through. It was unbelievable.
I then realized I could use this tool of videography to help other kids like my sister. After contacting several pediatric patients to collaborate with them and sharing their stories, I created short documentaries known as the Heartthrob series. Now I would like to share some of the experiences of these patients and their families, and the effect that sharing their personal story had on them and the community.
I didn't want to tell anybody about it. I wanted to go on like everything was normal, and I would always be like, kind of like asking my mom not to share it with anybody.
We wanted her to tell her story on her terms. So when we were contacted by Christian, the filmmaker, this was the perfect opportunity for her to finally tell her side of what happened. I think it raised a lot of awareness for rare diseases like LCH, Langerhans cell histiocytosis, and childhood cancer is not as rare as we used to think. So to raise awareness for these warriors, these fighters, these survivors, as well as for their respective conditions is so important.
One of the reasons we tell Maxwell's story about sickle cell anemia is to really let other people know that it's okay. Everybody has something that they're dealing with, and so when you're able to tell the story, it lets other people know that it's okay, and that yes, we deal with ups and downs, we deal with hospital stays, but Maxwell has a great life.
I thought it was really cool because it was like everywhere I went, I noticed that there was a camera. Everyone was like swarming around me, asking me questions about it.
The deeper meaning of what childhood cancer treatment entails. I think the families are best to tell one another, and the patients to one another, what actually this treatment is much more beyond just the chemotherapy or the radiation therapy or the surgical treatments that we plan for. It's beyond that, and so I think it's very powerful to have children relate to one another, their experiences, and families also sharing it.
After seeing the success of my Heartthrob series, I felt the drive to share more of these patients' stories. One of these patients was a young boy named Bruce, whom I met at the state capitol while we were advocating for pediatric cancer funding. I was deeply touched by Bruce and the joy that he radiated to everyone he met. I felt inspired to tell Bruce's story. After leaving that day and having several commitments thereafter, it was a few months before I returned to the idea of creating a film about Bruce. I was informed that Bruce had passed away, and I never got the chance to make his story. I will never forget the heavy feeling of sadness when I realized that I would never travel to meet and film Bruce. Just 6 months after I was inspired to tell his story, he passed away. I quickly realized that I could not continue to create these videos alone, and knew that I had to reach out to other young filmmakers to create these stories. One of my friends, Grace, immediately came to mind. Grace is also a cancer sibling who shares not only a passion for these pediatric patients, but a passion for videography and photography.
It's kind of a coping skill to watch and just know that other people have gone through this as well, and it's not just you. And like you see, we met at a school picnic or whatever, and we found this connection, and it's just a special bond just because I think watching these will help cope.
This whole experience has made me realize that as young filmmakers, storytelling can be used to create a deeply positive effect in the world. With only a phone, students can create these stories and share them to their community. Through my creation of these, I have witnessed these videos completely transform communities and foster compassion for these kids. I want this video to serve as a call to action for all young filmmakers to go out and tell the stories that need to be told. If I can do this with one person, tell one person's story and change their life, imagine what 100 people could do, what 100,000 people could do.